Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and as someone who's played PokeMMO for over 12 years now, I can confidently say we've never had more community resources and information and guides out on the game as we do now. It's what makes it one of the best times to be a new player in PokeMMO because you can actually just Google questions and learn about the game, but it's not always easy to find certain websites and certain resources via a quick Google search. So today I'm here to show you guys a few of those underrated websites and resources that I use every single day when playing PokeMMO. I even get to show off a brand new, never before seen one that was only just recently uploaded to the forums. So let's go ahead and jump into it, and as always, if you find today's video helpful and useful, make sure to leave a like on it and consider subscribing for daily PokeMMO videos. And the first website we're covering today is the brand new one. It's called PokeMMO Labs, created by Professor Diamba from Brazil. Now, immediately, I really like the UI of this website and the layout. It looks really clean and modern in my opinion. I also really like that it advertises that it's in 9+ languages. PokeMMO is an incredibly international game, and I feel like that's always one of the most underrated aspects of a website like this. How are people supposed to use your website if they can't read it? Now, you can immediately see the legendary rotations down here in the bottom left. If you don't know, in PokeMMO, every single month, the legendaries actually rotate around in Kanto and in Johto. So being able to quickly see which ones are in the wild right now at a glance is always super important. Now, the first thing I look for when evaluating a new PokeMMO resource or website like this is, how does it stand out? What does it do differently or better than the other websites? And I think I found a few answers for PokeMMO Labs, and pretty much all of these websites do something differently or something better than the others, and I think that's what's so beautiful. They all have use, they all have purpose, and they're all integral to the PokeMMO experience. But I think the vanity helper, the cosmetics helper over on PokeMMO Labs is really responsive and fantastic. PokeMMO Hub does also have a cosmetic helper, one that I've used a ton in the past, especially when it comes to making thumbnails. So I can't thank PokeMMO Hub enough for having that resource, but I might be switching over to PokeMMO Labs when it comes to this vanity resource. I like that you can switch through all of the different styles and visuals of the different vanities. You can see them a lot easier. They're a lot bigger and much more blown up comparatively to PokeMMO Hub. This is a thumbnail maker's dream for PokeMMO. For the average player, being able to go through and plan out what outfit you want to eventually aim for or go for is really, really important. I also like that it shows you a preview of the cosmetic as you search for them and scroll through them. That's a really good way for a player to learn about a lot of new cosmetics that they don't really know about. There's 14 years of vanities within PokeMMO. It is a ton for a new player to try to go through and learn all of these. Look, just on the head slot, we have the hat, the hair, the eyes, and the face. 4 different vanity slots. And then you go over to the body slots, the accessories, and even the follower sprite. If you want to have a shiny follower, you can test with those as well. PokeMMO Hub does not have that feature, unfortunately. This alone, in my opinion, makes PokeMMO Lab worth bookmarking on your browser. And if it's not obvious, I do want to quickly say I'm not sponsored by any of these websites. For whatever reason, when you talk positively about something on the internet, people like to assume you're sponsored. Nope, these are just products that I believe in and products that I use every single day. So I am not sponsored, number 1, and links to all of these websites are in the description, number 2. But moving on from the cosmetics helper, you also have the team builder if you're a PvP player. I also like that if you want to become a PvP player, it gives you some recommendations. A balanced offense team, a rain offense team, and a sandstorm control team are immediately on the dashboard when you load up the team builder. Now, I threw together a terrible NU team right here. I recommend not jumping into queue with this, but I wanted to use this as an example because I just threw together 6 Pokemon that I like to use in NU, right? And it tells me that I have a bunch of Pokemon that are weak to rock and electric. 3 different Pokemon. That is too much to queue up with. If you're bad at Pokemon team building like me, this website can help you get at least a little bit better. Going through all of your weaknesses very clearly laid out, going through what coverage you have access to with your attacks, going through your stat distribution. I like this, especially if you're like a half, bulky team. Understanding what you have in terms of physical defense versus special defense is very important with your switch-ins. And what I really like is this checklist showing you, oh, do you have entry hazards? Do you have stealth rocks? Do you have toxic spikes? Do you have have any rapid spin or defogging? Do you have recovery in the sense of like Roost on my Golbat? Do you have a status move like Toxic on my Shuckle? Do you have either a Volt Switch or U-turn? Very integral, you know, moves. I love this. This is such a good checklist, and not that it's something you should look for absolutely everything of these every time, but it's a good one to look through and just keep information on when building a team. Now, something really cool about the Vanity Cosmetic Helper and the PvP thing is that this website actually encourages you to share these. You can actually save an outfit that you create on the Cosmetic Helper and then link it to a friend and say, hey, rate my drip on a scale of 1 to 10, and they're probably going to say 6, 7 and throw their hands up in the air. But it's a really fun way to actually communicate with people, compare and contrast, and plan for vanities. Same with PvP teams. You can easily share your team with someone using copying the actual link, which the button for that is right down here, or you can actually download a .txt file. So it's a fantastic way to compare and contrast quickly. Not only is PokeMMO Labs going to help your PokeMMO journey, it's also going to help your friends' PokeMMO journey and help you guys communicate better. I'm pretty excited for this tool for those reasons, but let's move on to the next website. And the next website we're moving on to is going to be PokeMMO Hub, one of the most classic tools within PokeMMO. It's been around for some of the longest time, as well as maybe the most important. It is definitely up there. I don't want people to think just because I kind of do prefer PokeMMO Labs Cosmetic Helper that PokeMMO Hub is outdated or not worth using. This is one of the most integral resources to PokeMMO, including the market history, where you can go through individual items and see how their prices have adjusted over the years. If you ever plan to make investments or even have investments in PokeMMO and are not using PokeMMO Hub, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. This is crucial information to be aware of. Market history and market price is very freaking important to investing and long-term growth within PokeMMO. It's going to help you see trends and understand why things are more popular or not, and also seeing things like the quantity of certain items on the market. You can also track your own investments very easily if you make an account and go ahead and log how many of an item you purchased and at what price. You can see my Mysterious Great Ball investments is doing quite well, thankfully. And if you scroll down on the home page, you can get down to the quick information and go to the gym earnings calculator. This is a tool that I think a lot of people should use. People always ask me, Patrouski, should I use an amulet coin or a riches charm? And I have to say, it depends on your gym run. I don't know how many gyms you're doing in an hour and which gyms you're doing. If you input which gyms you're doing all across the world and then click amulet coin, it will show you, I'm doing 28 gyms. This is the gym run that I've been doing recently on my Ironman accounts. I'm earning about 373,000 Pokeyen. 352k after subtracting the amulet coin cost. That's very important. And if I take this same run and click Riches Charm 75%, you can see I'd actually make about 10,000 more Pokeyen, even though the cost of the charm is a lot more, going from 21k up to 74k. The extra increase of Pokeyen being 1.75 times as opposed to 1.5 times is very worth it. As you can see, that number jumping from 373k up to 436,000. If you've never calced your Jimmy run before, everyone should calc their Jimmy run at least once in this little calculator and understand what, kind of boost they should be using. There is something on PokeMMO Hub also called the breeding simulator, and some people seem to really like this. In all honesty, it breaks my brain. It does not really help me with any breeds, but a lot of people find it very helpful. So everybody's a little bit different. If this can be helpful to you, I'm glad you recommend it. And that's a huge point of today's video. There is no wrong website or right website to be using. Just use whatever helps your PokeMMO journey. It's really that simple, and PokeMMO Hub is a classic and crucial one in my opinion. Next up, one of the newcomers on the block that has been consistently making improvements in a website that I use every single day, especially when I'm doing catch events within PokeMMO. This is Team Synergy's website. Now, Team Synergy is a team, but their website is public and open to everyone. It immediately tells you the roaming legendaries that are available in the wild right on the front page. It also has that beautiful little background with all the shooting stars. Like, I find that just very visually appealing, and some other stuff that's less visually appealing. No, but Team Synergy's website is fantastic. The main thing that I use it for nowadays is catch events. Let's say, for example, later today, There's actually a Smeargle catch event coming up. So I can head over to their Pokedex, search for Smeargle, go click on Smeargle, and then scroll down to the very bottom here, and you'll find a big calculative list calcing all the different ways of which you could catch Smeargle all at once. It's already pre-calced for you as opposed to having to go through and click through everything. So you can see they recommend the best option as false swiping to 1 HP, putting it to sleep with Spore, and then it's at 100% catch rate after only 2 turns. Otherwise, you could go ahead and false swipe only into Dust Ball for a 61% catch rate. That is an option, and it shows things like Timer Ball at like turn 11 plus, which is kind of unrealistic for, you know, a random little Smeargle like this, but it's really good information. All of this stuff I use once again every single day. You can also scroll down and see all of the locations for Smeargle within the game itself. You can see all of its learnable moves and a ton of more information. The Pokedex is fantastic if you're looking for extra information like that. If you don't have your Pokedex already completed on PokeMMO, I think that's where this website really shines. Or maybe you're playing some PvP and you want to quickly look up the base stats of a specific Pokemon. Once again, I think where it really shines is the catch calculator. This is where I use it all the time. But there's also things like if you go to the top right and click resources and then scroll down, you can see all of the different gym reruns that exist within PokeMMO. People ask me all the time, Patrouski, what's the best gym rerun in the game? And I always say it depends on what you're looking for. Every gym rerun is a little bit different. Do you want to put in super high efforts and get really good rewards, but it's really mechanically difficult and challenging? Do you want to turn your brain off and do double Typhlosion like I've loved to do for years, but recently I'm starting to upgrade a little bit up to 7 Hells? There's no right or wrong when it comes to gym reruns in 2026. It's all about knowing how much effort, how much reward do you want to put in, and how consistently can you do that. I always try to tell people, if you try to do something like Tempest Explosion and make a crazy amount of Pokeyen, but then it burns you out of the game in 1 week, well, that wasn't actually the most efficient option because now you're no longer playing the game. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, sometimes people come to me and say, hey, Patrouski, double Typhlosion is so boring, so mind-numbing that that's burning me out of the game. So can you suggest something a little bit more active like 6 Pillars or 7 Hells or Tempest Explosion, etc., etc. This gives you all of the options laid out in live time right here. And beyond just money making, you also have things like tons of event guides for all of the holiday events and more. You have things like raid guides, recommended content creators, and just tons of more information on the Team Synergy website to go explore for yourself. Another cute little tool that I like is, let's say you want to shiny hunt today in PokeMMO, but you don't know what Pokemon you want to shiny hunt. If you go over to tools and then go to random Pokemon generator, you can select the difficulty of tiers of shinies you want to hunt. So tier 0 would include things like egg hunts, and this could be like other egg hunts and single encounters. Let's say you want to have a pretty chill day and mostly go for like a ×5 horde or ×3 horde potentially shiny. I'll keep tier 5 and tier 6 active. Let's go ahead and generate a random Pokemon, and okay, I'm going to go shiny hunt Hypno today, or I'm going to go shiny hunt Torkoal. This is a really fun way to give yourself a little bit of direction and goals within PokeMMO, which is probably one of the most important things that players need these days, in my opinion. There is so much content within PokeMMO, but there's not always a lot of direction or encouragement or motivation for players to go do those pieces of content. Insert the analogy here that PokeMMO is very similar to Minecraft, and it's all about creating your own goals and yada yada yada. You've probably heard me say it a million times if you watch my content. And if you plan to do Shiny Wars, there also is the official Shiny Wars planner over on the Team Synergy website, where you can go through and see all of the different rarities of Pokemon, like Alola and Audino being tier 0, Charmander being tier 0, the tier 1s right here, the tier 2s, down to the tier 6s on the left side, and tier 5s over here, etc., etc. All right, but that is the Team Synergy website. Next up is Shiny Board, and this one is the best way that shiny hunters use in PokeMMO to log their shinies, track their progress, and compare them to other people. This is something that I've actually been super lazy on, unfortunately, and I really need to update my shinies. This is only my Iron Man shinies, and honestly, it's not even all of them. I haven't even totally updated that yet, so I am behind on tracking my shiny board. But if you ignore that fact, we can cover some really cool pieces of information, like understanding where you stand as a shiny hunter, what rank you are, how many points you have, how many shinies you own comparatively to others, the encounters that you have, unique shinies, repeat shinies, and you even have a list of achievements, which is really, really cool in my opinion. You know, going for your first shiny or getting 10,000 encounters. Things like catching 10 steel type shiny Pokemon, 10 psychic types or ground types. I'm really excited to see them expand on this part of the website. And if you head over to the community on the left side, you can go over to the leaderboards and you can straight up see who has the most shiny points in PokeMMO. Now, there's two different ways to track, or a few different ways to track, many different ways to track shinies within PokeMMO. You could be the person who has the most points in shinies, and that takes all of the rarities as well as the quantity and kind of combines them. You could just go by most owned shinies, but you can really go through and see who has all these different shiny Pokemon. You can even actually click on someone and go exactly see all their details. You can see their favorite, obviously being a shiny, or a Shelf, I believe Eevee is what this is, if I'm not mistaken. You can even go click on this button, virtual collection, scroll down and see their collection roam around this really cute little virtual world. I think you could even click on it, yep, and draw their attention. This, in my opinion, I know it's really silly and cute and simple and stupid, but stuff like this, I think, is what makes PokeMMO so special. Being able to see all the shinies you've collected over the years roam around, this kind of visual aspect, I don't know, it really makes you realize how much effort and how much work and all the, you know, stuff, everything you've put into PokeMMO. Seeing it physically realized like this, it is a really special feeling. And I definitely recommend doing this with your shinies that you've collected so far. I think this website is a fantastic way to give a lot of new players ambitions and motivations and goals, going by things like, oh, who has the most safari shinies, right? And seeing who's rank 1 on that leaderboard, or going by, you know, most encounters by a single person. You can see most encounters as opposed to just shinies themselves, and see how many encounters people have done. Who's crazy enough to go for the most amount of repeat shinies, or rather unlucky enough? Oh, of course, it's Fungus, who's gone for that many unknown shiny Pokemon. What a beautiful collection he has, as many of you have probably heard of him before. If you happen to not know, Fungus is the first person, and I believe potentially still the only person, who has the entire shiny unknown collection within PokeMMO. And it turns out going for all of those unknowns just so happened to also make him the rank 1 player in the game for most single encounter shinies. Shiny board is a must for any shiny hunters who want to take themselves seriously and figure out where they stand within PokeMMO. Alrighty, but that is the last website I wanted to cover. I am sorry if I missed one. Let me know what websites you like to use for PokeMMO down in the comments below. And once again, make sure to like this video if you found it helpful, dislike if not, subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos every single day, follow me on Twitch, usually for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET, Discord's down below if you're interested in that, and if you want to go above and beyond and support the channel, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal and Venmo donations really allow me to be here. So thank you guys for your above and beyond support, and I will see you guys later, but for now, peace Reno. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here, and I wanted to say thank you so much to everybody's name who is on this list. You really allow me to make the content that I do every single day, and I hope I can make it worth your guys' while and add to your PokeMMO journey. Thanks again so much for watching the entire video, and have a great day.